Hello there and welcome to Movie Cuts Recaps. Today I will review an action drama comedy movie called Big Brother, also known as Dai Si Hing. We will experience the journey of a school teacher who is a secret Kung Fu legend. Before we begin, make sure to hit the subscribe button. Let's start right away. Henry came back to Hong Kong after a long time in the US Army. He wanted to be a teacher now, so he went to his old school, Tak Chi Secondary. The principal there told him he didn't have any experience teaching yet. But Henry showed him a letter from a big shot, and the principal gave him the job. Before Henry left, the principal warned him that he was getting the worst class in the whole school. The next day, Henry walked into the classroom for his first day. It was a total mess. Some students were sleeping, others were singing out loud, some were playing games on their phones, and a bunch of them were even cooking noodles on a small stove they brought. Even when Henry came in, they didn't pay any attention to him and kept doing their own thing. Henry tried to talk to them, but they acted like they couldn't hear him. Henry gave up on getting their attention and just walked around the classroom talking about what they were already doing. He told the ones cooking noodles to eat less because the noodles had too much salt. Then, he went to a boy named Zufa who was playing a small guitar and helped him play it better. He also told a boy playing video games that staring at the screen all day wasn't good for his eyes. Finally, the students stopped what they were doing and looked at him. Henry introduced himself and wrote his name and phone number on the board. But the students just laughed because his writing wasn't very neat. Then, one of them even called him on the phone and told him to leave. Henry just laughed it off. The students didn't listen to him again and went back to what they were doing before. Henry had enough. He took a rubber band and some chalk and used them to make the sprinklers in the ceiling go off. The students all jumped around to avoid getting wet. Now they were finally paying attention. Henry finally got the attention and officially welcomed them to his class. After class ended, 5 of the lowest-ranking students hung out together in the room where they kept sports equipment. The leader of the group, Jack, liked a girl from another class who got really good grades. The others saw him looking at her picture and teased him about it. These guys didn't like the rich kids who were on the school's basketball team. The basketball team guys walked into the room and made fun of Jack for being poor, like they always did. Later, the basketball team was practicing, and Jack and his friends were watching from the side. Jack dropped a bottle on the court, which made the leader of the basketball team trip and fall. Jack's group laughed, but they got in trouble with the school's English teacher, Miss Leong. They didn't want to stay after school for punishment, so they played a trick on her and ran away while she was cleaning her desk. Meanwhile, the school principal was worried because a group of important people from the education department was coming to visit. These people were in charge of giving the school money every year, and the principal was afraid they would cut their budget by 20%. So, the big shots from the department came to the school to see how they were spending the money. At the same time, Henry went into his classroom. The students had set up a bucket of water to fall on him as a joke. But Henry moved really fast, and he was able to knock the bucket away before it got him wet. The students were surprised because they thought they would be able to trick him. Henry knew Jack smoked, so he asked him for his cigarettes. Jack gave them to him, not sure what Henry was going to do. Then, Henry asked a boy named Zufa to name the 3 things in a cigarette. Zufa knew the answer, and Henry let him skip class for the day. All of a sudden, everyone in the class wanted to skip class too. When the classroom quieted down, Henry gave each student a cigarette and told them to take a close look at it. He knew just telling them smoking was bad wouldn't work. Instead, he asked them what happened when they smoked and explained how it built up in their lungs. For the first time ever, the students actually listened to their teacher and seemed to be interested in what he was saying. When the class ended, Henry asked for the cigarettes back, and the students, although not happy about it, gave them to him. At lunchtime, the star basketball player tripped Jack's friend Bruce on purpose. This started a big argument between their groups, which quickly turned into a fight. They threw food and flipped tables, making a mess everywhere. Later, Henry learned that 5 students from his class got suspended for starting the fight. He found Jack fighting his enemy in the hallway and broke it up. When Henry told Jack to chill out, Jack got mad and said the school wasn't fair. He said the rich kids never get punished. After school that day, Henry looked through the files of the 5 suspended students. The first one was Zufa, a Pakistani immigrant kid. He always got treated differently because of his race. Cops even accused him of stealing things sometimes, even though he didn't do anything wrong. All Zufa ever wanted was to be a musician. The second student was a girl named Danan. Her dad had never been happy with her since she was born because he wanted a son. Danan tried everything to make her dad proud. She even cut her hair short and played with cars like a boy, but it never mattered. Her dad ignored her and spoiled her younger brother. Then there were brothers Bruce and Chris. Their mom left them with their dad when they were little to be with another man. This made their dad start drinking a lot. Bruce escaped from reality by playing video games all the time. Chris, on the other hand, got a job at a grocery store to help bring in money for the family. Henry couldn't find anything about Jack's family in his file. Jack was working at a restaurant as a waiter. An MMA bettor named Jennying came in with his friends. When Jennying wasn't looking, Jack took his expensive lighter, but Jennying caught him. Jennying's tough guys beat Jack up, then checked his ID and saw he was a student. Jennying gave Jack some money and a job delivering food for them. Meanwhile, Henry went to Zufa's house. Zufa was running away from his dad and some other guys because he stole a ticket. Henry helped Zufa at first, but then he found out why Zufa was in trouble and sided with Zufa's dad. Later, Henry and Zufa went to a bridge. To give Zufa the courage to chase his dreams, Henry sang with a band playing on the street. Suddenly, Zufa joined in and sang in public for the first time since being bullied in school. Back at home, Bruce and Chris's dad came home drunk again and ordered them to get him beer. When the boys refused, he yelled and kicked them out. The next day, Henry talked to their dad and convinced him to go to rehab to get better for his sons. Danan's dad gave her a bunch of makeup and told her to act more girly. Danan was mad because he always made her feel bad about herself. She put the makeup on her little brother and then snuck out of the house with the car keys. She was about to drive away without a license when Henry stopped her. He explained it was dangerous and offered another idea. They went to a go-kart track instead. Henry even invited Danan's dad to race with them. They raced really hard and ended up crashing outside the track. Danan swerved to miss a car, but her dad didn't see that and thought she was hurt. He cried, thinking she was dead, but then Danan hugged him and he realized she was okay. The next day at school, Bruce, Chris, and some other students went to a rehab center to talk to a recovering alcoholic. They were shocked to see it was their dad. They asked him why he started drinking. The man said he loved his wife very much, but she left him when he was feeling really down. That's why he started drinking and forgot about his sons. He didn't tell them he was their dad, but he apologized to everyone there. Bruce and Chris cried after hearing his story. Meanwhile, Jack was working for the gambler Jennying again. Jennying offered him a lot of money to put something in a fighter's drink to make him lose the next fight. Jack didn't want to do it, but Jennying forced him. On fight day, Jennying was betting on the other guy to win. Jack tried to put the stuff in the drink, but someone caught him. Before Jack could tell on Jennying, the guys beat him up and locked him in a locker. Later, Henry showed up looking for Jack. The fighters told him to leave, but Jack yelled for help from inside the locker. Henry realized they were trapping Jack and attacked them. He easily beat them all up, even their best fighter who was supposed to be in the match soon. Next, they were at the hospital. Henry got treated for his injuries. Jack tried to tell the truth about Jennying, but Henry shut him up. The news reported on the fight, and Henry became famous for saving his student. He was a hero at school now. The students even stood up to greet him in class, which was a big change. In a flashback, we saw that Henry used to be a troublemaker in school. He even messed with a student who was playing piano for parents. They got into a fight, and Henry broke the other student's hand. He got suspended and had to move to the States. After that, the students actually listened to Henry in class and studied hard for their college tests. Everyone was doing well except Bruce. Unlike Chris, who played games to escape his problems, Bruce turned to drugs. He did really bad on a practice test because he couldn't focus. Henry promised to help him, but Bruce got more and more depressed. In the end, Bruce jumped off their balcony and went into a coma. The news made it sound like the school and Henry were to blame for Bruce's jump. School officials took away Henry's teaching license. When he packed up and left, the students chased after him, begging him to stay. They were sad to see him go, but they knew they had to do well on their tests to make him proud. From that day on, the students studied extra hard to show the school board that Henry was a good teacher. On test day, Jack and all the other students got a text from Henry. He told them to meet at school an hour before the test. When they got there, they found out it was a trick by Jennying, the gambler guy. He locked them in school so they'd miss the test. He was trying to get back at Henry. A little later, Henry showed up at school and figured out Jennying's plan. He let the students out and fought Jennying's guys to protect them. They all escaped and rushed to the test while Henry fought Jennying. During the fight, Jennying revealed that he was the student Henry threw water balloons at years ago. Because of the broken arm, Jennying couldn't play in a big music competition. He hadn't touched the piano since and blamed Henry for ruining his dream. Henry tried to explain, but Jennying attacked again. They fought over a knife, and Henry almost stabbed him, but stopped himself. He apologized for what happened as a kid and walked away. The students made it to the test on time and finished it. Weeks later, everyone passed with great scores. Jennying started playing piano again, but needed practice to get back to his old level. Bruce recovered quickly from his jump and promised to take the test next year. The principal was happy because the school board gave them extra money for the students' good grades. Henry went back to teaching and pulled another prank on a new group of students with the fire sprinklers. And that's the end of the movie. If you enjoyed, check out these videos.